And the right-leaning paper Le Figaro also focusing on this slap on the wrist, if you like, from Brussels.
That's right. Now, Le Figaro focuses on just what the Commission is saying. Now, on top of criticizing the growing deficit, the Commission also said that Hollande's efforts to boost competitiveness are only having a limited effect so far. And on top of that, labor costs are too high. Now, Le Figaro points out that other countries were also put on this watch list, like Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, and Hungary. And for some reason, Le Figaro is really upset that Hungary is on this list. It says, with all due respect, what an insult for France to be put on the same list as Hungary for its economic performance. Now, according to Le Figaro, this is a proof that France is really among the weakest countries in Europe. There's no doubt about it. Nobody in Europe believes our baloney anymore. And by our baloney, you should read the government's baloney. Basically, Le Figaro says that despite the government's repeated promises, our debt is galloping like a wild horse. We're headed straight for the wall. That's what it says in the editorial today.
Okay, now let's have a look at the left-leaning press. Libération we're talking about now, focusing on these secret tape recordings of the former President Nicolas Sarkozy that you were telling us about yesterday.
That's right. This is the Canard Enchaîné, the satirical paper that revealed this yesterday, that Sarkozy was systematically recorded while he was in office by one of his closer advisors that you can see here on the front page of Libération. He's a man named Patrick Buisson. He is actually the man responsible for Sarkozy's lurch towards the hard right during his failed re-election campaign in 2012. Now, Libération calls him Sarkozy's supergrass or informer. Now, Buisson has often denied that he was responsible for these secret recordings, but since Le Canard Enchaîné's article yesterday, he's come out saying, yes, he did indeed record conversations with the former president, but he says that Sarkozy was aware of it. Now, Libération points out that Sarkozy is painting himself as a victim, but it's really Sarkozy who brought this on himself, according to Libération in its editorial. He's the one who surrounded himself with such shady characters because Buisson is just one of Sarkozy's former advisors who's involved in scandals right now. And Libération points out that this has really plunged the opposition UMP party into chaos, and it's not really what the party needs right now. There have been a lot of internal fights in the party, and just last week, the party leader, Jean-François Copé, was targeted with allegations of corruption. So Libération says that the party is really going from one scandal to another.
Now, one person is very, very happy about this, according to Le Monde anyway. That's the far-right leader, Marine Le Pen.
That's right. Le Monde in its editorial says that Marine Le Pen is actually rubbing her hands. And this is just 3 weeks before municipal elections, just 3 months before European elections. So on one hand, you have the UMP, which is riddled with scandals and ripping apart at the seams. And then you also have the government, the socialist government, that's accused of doing a terrible job at curbing unemployment and reboosting the economy. So Le Monde says it seems like both the right and the left are doing Marine Le Pen's job for her. And it says this is very unfortunate.
And finally, Le Figaro is focusing on rather a surprising candidate. This is for the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's right. This is not an April Fool's joke. It's Vladimir Putin. He may be flexing his military muscle and in an arm wrestling match with the EU and the US over Ukraine, but the Russian president is among the record-breaking 278 nominees for the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize. Now, this is reportedly because of his efforts to resolve the Syrian civil war. Also reportedly on that list are whistleblowers Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning, formerly known as Bradley Manning, as well as the Pakistani teenager Malala Yousafzai, who was also on the list last year.
Yeah, she was.
Now, Le Figaro says that one person who is really a favorite in all this is the Pope Francis.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait until October 10th to find out who's the winner. If Putin does indeed win, he would be the third Russian to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And Le Figaro reminds us that Stalin himself, his name was thrown in the hat 2 times in 1945 and 1948, but he never won.
Sounds like it probably depends what happens over the next few months, whether he wins or not. 278-1 anyway, Vladimir Putin. Thanks a lot, Flo. Flo Villeneuve with the press and Stephen with business on France 24. Coming up, of course, we're going to have the very latest from Ukraine. We're going to speak to our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, in Crimea in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Also coming up in focus, is there any more freedom of expression in Egypt? It's the question amongst many as the trial continues of 3 journalists from Al Jazeera accused of supporting a terrorist group, namely the Muslim Brotherhood. It's in the next half hour.
The Observer's Direct.
Cambodia makes expensive jeans and t-shirts for sale in the richest countries of the world. But its textile workers have to subsist on pitiful wages. There are signs they've had enough. We joined our observer, Moses, in the Cambodian capital, Phnom Penh, where the textile workers are threatening revolt.
The Observer's Direct. En France 24 and France24.com.